give thanks for life. Yeah, man, love black people. I'm going to say, you're the provider, Selassie, and the Almighty. Joe! Rastafari, live on the meaning of the art of all flesh. Kalonji, boom, set the place of fire, is high. Open the eyes, you better be wise. Yeah, man,
Okay, so welcome. This is episode number 9 of Catcha Fyah. The last time you saw us, we were at Divi South End speaking to reggae artist Protege. He was in Barbados for the reggae festival doing some promotion for that video, who knows. You were unable to see it online, and the video is just released. We were hoping that we could have shown you that video. Nevertheless, it is online on YouTube, so all you have to do is just search that video separately. Who knows, featuring Pronix, you'll still get a chance to see it. It's not tagged until within a few weeks, we're going to tag it to the end of the program. So currently you can still see episode 8 online. 36 minutes, exclusive interview with Protege. Right now though, this is episode number 9. We're going to be talking to a special queen this evening. Her name is Rachelle Gray, photographer. Many people know her promoting iQueen as well, making a serious contribution to black women across the diaspora. So when we come back, we're going to get a chance to speak to Rachelle Gray one-on-one right here on Catcha Fyah. You'll be back.
Yeah, morning, man.
What's going on, morning?
Yeah, like that? Yeah, brother. You see this? You don't get a look at this here? 3,000 people going home. To be honest, I'm glad I got 7 years in here. Because I don't feel that I can be 9 ones. I can get saying one. In fact, I don't feel I can be 9 ones. I just work too hard, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know how the years could be. Yo. Yeah, man, earlier, man.
Yeah.
Earlier. You can get them, get big man on here. Put them there, man. Boy. Yeah, party game here, yeah?
2 or 3 doses a day, I'm sure, yeah. I take the guy Burns, yeah.
Burns? Real thing. Yeah.
Meet at the bar.
Oh.
This is him.
Okay.
You can't be early for a job at all, boy.
Yeah, I was thinking so. Yeah, they like to talk.
And the city morning.
I want my house.
Yeah, hey, cool, man.
Well, how was it? I guess you would have heard that the government planned to do a retrenchment of some workers.
You mean 3,000 people against saying home?
Yeah.
Yes, in blunt terms.
Unfortunately, you're gonna be one of them.
That what? Me?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Now you back in sport with
It's not something that we want.
But you can get 7 years, B?
Some people have been here longer. Be that as it may, I'm sorry. I don't know if there's anything else we can do, but I really wish you well. And if something does come up anywhere, I would recommend you. You're a good worker.
I don't hear you, man. I don't know that ain't your fault, man.
Take care,
I don't hear, man. I don't even know what to think now, man. Foxhole Studios, Stein. Full moon shine bright. That's right. Just as day turns to night, everything is subjected to change. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Never say never when you have a good thing going. A great wise man once said that means when life is good and the money is flowing, never you lose your head. No. So now I'm poor, searching for a way to make my life more secure. I never take the good things in life for granted, but the dirty devil wanna take advantage. Lately, my life full of stress. Each and every day the devil put me to the test. Yes, they love to see me depressed. I aim for the best and I won't settle for less. But it's so hard in this world. What would we do without the Lord in this world? My life in this world, tired of the war and strife in this world. Papa scolded me and Mama told me to try to be the best that I can be. So now I'm older and the world is colder. I'll spread my roots like a great oak tree. Yeah, I will stay firm. So many lessons that I'm willing to learn. I ask God for guidance daily, and every time I sleep at night I know that He will protect me still. Lately, my life full of stress. Each and every day the devil put me to the test. Yes, they love to see me depressed. I aim for the best and I won't settle for less. But it's so hard in this world. What would we do without the Lord in this world? My life in this world, tired of the war and strife in this world. The other day I tap into the spirit. It tell me link with Marlon Fox and I did it. Went on Facebook, got the digits. This is the time to make some big hits. Sure. Catch me on a world tour. The key didn't fit, so I tried another door. I come to push Barbados. Coming in from the cold, keeping it righteous. Lately, my life full of stress. Each and every day the devil put me to the test. Yes, they love to see me depressed. I aim for the best and I won't settle for less. But it's so hard in this world. What would we do without the Lord in this world? My life in this world. Tired of the war and strife in this world.
The cocoon has been opened. A spectacular butterfly emerges. Rich with power, a wealth of wisdom. I stand majestically atop my room of reflection. My days of creeping, gone. Past lessons, I finally overcome. With my path clearly chosen, I now spread my wings ready for flight.
Okay, so we're back. Welcome to the program, Rachelle.
Hi.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We're here taking the new park here at Church Village, right here by the Central Bank. If you've not been here as yet, you really need to come down and take a stroll in this park. Pretty nice work done. So big respect to all the guys who would have worked on the park over the last few weeks. Introduce yourself to my audience. Who are you? You wear so many hats.
Wow.
It's difficult to me. I don't know how to really introduce you to my audience just now. So I just said, let me just keep it as basic as possible. Tell me about yourself.
Where do I start? Well, Rachelle Gray, a photographer, creative, writer, promoter, PR person, mother, artist manager, just about anything that has to do with the creative and has to do with the creative. That's what I do. I run Gray Works Media, which is a boutique agency dealing with creative issues. Like I'm an ideas woman. That's the crux of it. Full of ideas.
Well, if you watch any of the programs previous to this one, that's like a buzzword on Catcha Fyah. Creativity, energy. We're trying to really push that up there and get people not necessarily to be self-employed only, but dependent, independent in thought as well.
Definitely.
So talk to me about creativity. Talk to me
Creativity.
about Gray Works Media. Let's start there.
Well, Gray Works Media is, well, as you know, my last name is Gray. And I don't mind working hard to get where I need to go and to do what I have to do. And I said, you know what, it came to me in my final year at university, because I was thinking of what I was going to do next. What I was going to do next was not to work for someone, or if I were going to work for someone, it would be for a limited period of time. And basically I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to form this company. I was studying broadcast productions and business studies, but I fell in love with photography. So I said, okay, I was in Buffalo. It's all right, done with Buffalo. I'm running off to New York City. I'm going to start my love affair with photography. I'm going to give New York City 2 years, and then I'll decide where I go from there. And that's it. Basically, it came down to New York as Gray Works Media. Was dealing with artists, photographing a lot of publicity images for singers and dancers and stuff within the Brooklyn community. And then 2 years after that, I came home.
Okay, so you're here in Barbados now. Photos, photography. So you're talking image.
Talking image.
How important is image?
Image is very important. The funny thing about it, which you already figured before we even started recording, you held up the camera at me. I am a very camera shy person. Right?
I don't think that's true. But
I am. And I think that because I'm camera shy, it makes me more mindful of how people see themselves when they're in front of camera or how to portray them. Image is very, very important, not only within photography, but also within journalism, what you write, the kind of pictures that you're painting in someone's head with the language that you're using when you report. And it's also important as far as, like, for instance, branding of your company, branding of yourself as an independent person, whether you're going out there to be a designer or to be a musician or whatever you go into. We always worry about our image. Whether we're working for someone or we're not working for someone, image comes to mind. Who we're going to date, where we're going to eat, what we subscribe to, what we listen to. Those all impact, on our image and the image that we're trying to put out there. So basically, Greyworks Media, essentially the maxim is when image matters. So it's a play on the word image, whether it's when image matters as far as your photography, the level of photography you want, the level of creativity you want that photography to embody, the freshness, the relevance, the ability to tell a story, the thousand word story in that one image, that one picture. And then in the other facets of what Greyworks does, which is the PR, the promotions, artist management, what have you not, event, production, is that thing, the kind of working with a client and being able to convey what it is they have visualized for themselves, knowing the right ideas. Yeah,
Okay. Artist management, that's another part of your business.
correct.
I know you manage colored,
Yes.
colored reggae artists.
Roots
Then
reggae
yeah,
artist
roots reggae
colored,
artists.
yeah.
How has that been for you? Coming back home, you're managing a reggae artist in Barbados, which some people obviously see as something obviously out of the box. They're not known to produce reggae artists, I suppose. So,
Well, I guess it would be out of the box, probably because I guess, first of all, managing an artist or artist management, I don't think is necessarily a female domain,
mhm,
especially as far as like say something like reggae,
right.
But there are a lot of female managers in the world who manage very high
Oh,
profile
sure.
artists. But as far as for us here in Barbados on our little rock, I don't think it's a popular concept. Um, I respect music. I love music. What a lot of people don't know is that I used to have my own radio show
Okay.
on 91.3 FM,
Mm,
Buffalo's original alternative.
mm,
And I used to DJ for a song called Yared Sound. This is in my university days. So I've always been involved in music,
mm,
you know. And when I came home, like I said, the choice to be a photographer was a conscious choice. I decided, okay, I'm not going to deal with radio. I'm not going to deal with television. I'll just deal with photography for now. And as you grow as an artist, you come to realize, okay, I've done my photography stuff, I've written, I've traveled, I've exhibited. Good. I evolved. And as you evolve and you evolve and you evolve, you sometimes pick up new things or
mhm.
you revisit things that you used to do before
Yeah.
in your evolution.
Can be refined.
So last year I did eCreate, which the NCF had invited me to create an installation, right? Um, and in that installation, I invited Indrani, who is a musician
Mhm.
here. She came and she performed and everything in the photography space.
Right.
And that's also where I met Khaled.
Right.
With my photography, I've done iQueen, which you mentioned before. But part of iQueen was Royal Sunday, which is every year you would come out right around the corner right here at Frank Cullinan Hall, and there'll be music, whether it's Tabitha, Buggy, Rolly, on Black Clay Soil, everyone's performing. Nelly and Trevi from Mother Dominica, artists coming together, creatives coming together. So when I met Colored and I heard Colored's music and I felt Colored's vibe, and I assessed where I was because a lot of people were asking me to manage them as well.
Right.
But at those times, when there was different points in time, I didn't have the energy
Right.
or maybe the drive or willingness to do it. But it's all about timing. So as I evolve and as Greyworks evolved, we met the right artists.
Okay. Not a bit on this topic. I've been trying to make a point lately that there's not really a genre of music called Bajan reggae, and I think that's one of the problems that we have when it comes to marketing. I love reggae. I love reggae. I love Gentleman from Germany. I love
Hmm.
Marla Asher from Trinidad.
Hmm.
I love LRG and Buggy from Barbados.
Yeah, I'm an LIG fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Buggy
So I
fan. Yeah.
mean, how do we, I don't know, present and create a platform for our musicians right now in Barbados?
One of the first things, because this also goes back to the question you asked me earlier,
Mhm.
about image.
Right.
I think that the best image you can have is an honest image.
Right.
You got to be true to yourself first. You understand what I mean? We're Bajans.
Mhm.
We speak like Bajans. We do Bajan things,
Mhm.
right? And I feel that, the whole concept of being a Bajan reggae artist
Mhm.
will limit you. Why would it limit you? Because Barbados, if you really look at it at night when Selma is given the weather, she has to circle it to say, here is Barbados. Barbados is only so big. It's big in our minds, it's big in our hearts, but in the world, when you go and tell someone you're from Barbados, they ask you what part of Jamaica.
Right.
So let's be realistic and be honest with ourselves first, as far as that's concerned. There's, you can name yourself whatever you want, but you have to take the consequences of it. So if you want to limit yourself to being just a Bajan reggae artist, I'm not going to fight that. I can't tell a man what to name himself.
Right.
But who do you serve? Are you serving just that, or are you serving music? Are you serving God? Are you serving the wider scope of it? Because music goes beyond Barbados. So to me, if you are a musician, are you an artist? I'm not a Bajan photographer. I'm a photographer,
Right.
but I'm from Barbados.
Right.
You understand what I mean? Our camera crew, they're not Bajan New Vision. You know what I mean? They're who they are,
International.
but they're, you understand what I mean? So what you label yourself is really what you pigeonhole yourself, because then when you go to another country and you say, well, I'm a Bajan reggae artist, what is that?
Okay. So
They know what reggae artists are, but what's a Bajan reggae artist?
but we're not crossing you. I wanna take that then into a broader concept then. Do you limit yourself as well when you say I'm a Christian or I'm a Jehovah's Witness or I am a Rasta or I'm a Muslim? Well, what's your feeling about that?
Well, it
God and
depends.
religion and spirituality. How do you feel about
But you
that as
see,
well?
with religion, the fact that you're religious, there are limitations, because with religion you subscribe to something
Okay.
and have denounced something else. If I'm not mistaken, that's one of the tenets of say, Christianity,
Right.
is that you have denounced the world and you're now subscribing to Christ. So that's obviously a limitation. But with something like your music, you know what I mean? Your music, who are you singing for when you sing? Are you just singing for Bajans? Because we appreciate that, but you might limit what you want to say to us. But if you sing, Bajans listen to all genres of music. Bajans have, you can throw a jazz festival here, you can have the Celtic festival here, you can have Indian night at Holders. So Bajans, their ears are open. So in a way, you kind of insult their intelligence when you say, okay, this is Bajan reggae. Gentleman, he's not a German reggae artist. He's a reggae artist. Who is he serving? He's serving the music. Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit of advice. I don't know if we're going to get in trouble for saying this, but for some of the Bajan reggae artists that are listening to this program. So being serious though, we're going to take in a bit of colored right now. That's an artist that Rachelle is managing at the moment. We just had a live session, a big interview on Balcony TV. So we're actually going to share that interview with you and come back and speak some more. We're going to talk on a spiritual side of it when we come back.
Wow.
I won't let you get away. We'll be right back.
Cool.
Ladies and gents of Internet Land, you're watching Balcony TV Barbados. My name is Simon Pipe, and we're here in Foster Hall, St. John on a beautiful morning today. And we're here with the artist Colored and his band Freedom Park. How's it going, guys?
Everything is blessed.
All right, sweet. What's the name of the song y'all going to perform for us today?
The song we're going to perform is called Sorry.
All right. Well, I'm going to let these guys take it away, and we're going to have a chat later. All right.
Lately, love has got a hold on me, on me. Lately, love has got a hold on me, on me. I'm sorry, is all that I can say. Forgive me, didn't mean to turn your loving away. You tried to make it work, and that's no doubt. I acted like a jerk, didn't know what love was all about. Now I'm standing here with a broken heart. I brought this love to an end. This is the only place I can start. I'm sorry, is all that I can say. Forgive me, didn't mean to turn your loving away. All this time you were trying to get closer to my heart. I kept pushing you away, tearing yours all apart. I didn't mean to hurt you, baby girl. Baby, baby, please believe. Receiving hate for so long, love comes around, feels I've been deceived. I'm sorry, is all that I can say. Forgive me, didn't mean to turn your loving away. Let's make it like it was and keep it like we should. Let the loving flow the way we know it would. I'll open my heart to you, girl, without any fear. And in the end of time, no need to search, baby girl, I'll be there. I'm sorry is all that I can say. Forgive me, didn't mean to turn your loving away. I'm sorry is all that I can say. Forgive me, didn't mean to turn your loving away. Jam. Yeah, man.
Sweet, sweet, sweet vibes, man. For I love that tune. Very, very catchy. I'm sorry to hear that you mistreat somebody that way, but you know that's how it goes sometimes. Exactly, exactly. So, Color, tell us a little bit about your music. What's the kind of general theme and message of your music?
Well, I'm a roots reggae artist and just focus on positive, uplifting music. You know?
Right. And how did you come across these guys, Freedom Park?
Through my management, Grey Works Media.
Okay.
I link up with Sally here on percussions on my right, you know, and
nice.
Later on in the juggling, we meet up with Sammy here on guitar.
Right.
And we kind of gel and we just vibing, man.
And it's working.
Enjoying it.
Exactly. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your musical journey. Kind of where did you come from, and how did you end up, doing what you're doing today?
Yeah, I come from parish of St. John, and I always had a passion and a love for reggae music.
Right.
You know, and right now, we just on tour of the island.
Right. Nice.
Just enjoying it to the fullest.
So where can your fans find your music?
Well, you can find my music on facebook.com, Colored Music. That is KULLURD MUSIK.
Right.
On Reverb Nation or SoundCloud, you know.
Right. Sweet. Yeah. Well, thanks guys for blessing up Balcony TV. We really appreciate it. Beautiful parish, beautiful song, wonderful people. Balcony TV, Barbados, Colored, and Freedom Park. Have a good one, guys.
Bless.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's the song we just saw performed live by Colored. That's over there in Foster Hall, St. John, my parish, my hometown. So big respect to everybody in St. John on the internet as well. Don't forget you can log on to the internet and find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media platforms. You can find these episodes as well. So just stay tuned. We're back and we're talking to Rachelle Gray. Before, we were talking about music.
Yes.
Obviously about image, how you brand yourself, recognizing that obviously you're playing in a global battlefield, regardless of what it is you're into.
Exactly.
You're not competing, obviously, to the person next to you. It's a global village right now, so we need to, frame our minds as such. I want to talk about religion versus spirituality. I've been tackling and really trying to get this out. The last 8 episodes, everybody that's been on the program have, they pretty much shared their bit, their own concept, their own views. We've had several different answers. We really think it's pretty healthy for the program. So what's your view? I mean, right now, we live in Barbados.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in the Caribbean. And then we look at square footage, the churches all over. And not just churches, but I find one of the good things about the Caribbean is that you can practice pretty much any religion. You can pretty much practice, especially in Barbados. I find there's not really a hard line as to what you can't practice, even if you do it quietly. So I find people go about their business. Yeah, I find there are Muslims in Barbados. There are people of so many different denominations in Barbados who live together, on one small island. But that doesn't take away from the fact that we're still trying to find out if there's a difference between religion and spirituality. So I don't know. What's your take on that?
Wow. Well, from where I stand or sit, there is a difference between religion and spirituality. On Sundays, I sometimes tune into some of the religious shows, and I've even heard pastors say it to their congregations, They tell their congregations you gotta put your soul, your heart, your spirit into your prayer. You know, you can be mechanically Christian, I heard one said just the other day. So religion, I believe religion and ritual. Religion is your ritual. Sunday versus Saturday, Allah versus, you know, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, when you're going to say it, the songs, the psalms, the text you're going to use to convey it. I believe that that's what religion is. It's your ritual of how you practice your spirituality.
Right.
Yeah. And that's basically long and short of it.
All right.
Yeah.
You're a woman.
I
So
am.
Yes. So I want you to know, to come away out of spirituality now. I
Mhm.
want you to talk to me about your influence on women in Barbados. You have the Icon show. There must be a reason why you promoted Icon. I mean, obviously, outside of Icon, we have several pageants across Barbados, several shows of different natures. So, coming from your background and making your contribution in this art form, talk to me about Icon and its purpose.
When image matters, image is so very important. Yeah. Even though Grey Works is a commercial entity, iQueen now came out as an exhibition and then transformed into a social enterprise.
Okay.
Right? Any work that I do, whether it's creative work, business work, whatever, is by and large an extension of myself. So if I'm going to photograph, it is going to be something that I am interested in and something that I want to say something about. Yeah. iQueen was a social commentary put together with images. It focused, it was an anthology of Barbadian Rastafari women around the time 2009 when I embarked upon it. I started from it 2008, but what really like crystallized the whole situation is Ayakobi had passed, right? You know, that whole situation.
I don't just say
That,
big respect to Ayakobi.
yeah,
Not forgotten.
rest
If
in
you don't know
peace.
about Ayakobi's story, you can always Google. Trust me, there's several stories online.
And he didn't just
There's
pass. It was death by misdemeanor, which
Cool.
I can't even think. But at that time, this is my second crown.
Right.
So I was more or less bald or what have you not back then, you know, in transition between first crown and this one.
Okay.
And a lot of people felt that they could come and say things to me that they probably would not have said politely to people that look like me. No.
Okay.
And I started to realize, well, people are, you know, there was like tension. There was a quiet tension. In Barbados, we always have quiet tension. We don't riot unless it's 1937. We've got quiet tension. And there was this quiet tension because, you know, people were hot about Ayakobi, like, yo. And then there was another part of society that was saying, oh, them just jumping up and down, saying whatever, whatever. And that was what I was hearing. But then I was seeing, and then I was, you know, you can understand a woman lost her son. Long and short, whether you are Rasta or whomever, a woman lost her son. You know, and I was also at a point where it felt like, I don't know, it felt like women were just going wild. It was like crazy. Like, I feel that you can be free and you can express yourself, but the level of expression had gone crazy. You know, you're like 2 steps away from, I don't know how to describe it, but
What do you mean exactly? Women are going wild. Expression.
you still see it today. I always say that if I were a prostitute, I would be very upset by how many women are infringing currently on my profession. Because when you go out, you can't tell who is the whore and who is not the whore.
Okay.
I would be upset. I would be very upset if I was a prostitute. Because now you see people who are supposed to be ladies looking like prostitutes, right? And I was like, Whenever something negative comes to me, I always try to replace it with something positive. I say, Rasha, don't get upset, girl. What these people saying about Rastas, you know to not be true. You know enterprising Rastas. You know conscious Rastas. You know beautiful Rastas. You know family-oriented Rastas. You understand where I'm coming from?
You know Rastas who I mean, this is it's such an interesting topic because what is Rasta? How do you know who is Rasta? How do you identify
You know how you
Rasta?
know who is Rasta?
I
The same way I figured it out for iQueen. There was only one question I asked you if you're going to do iQueen. Are you Rastafari? That's all I wanted to know. I didn't care if you were Nyabingi, 12 Tribes, Church of Selassie, Congo Bongo, whatever. You understand what I mean? Are you Rasta? If you said Rasha, I am Rasta, I didn't go to my Rasta checklist. Because you know there's a Rasta checklist. You go on pants, your hair twist, you got nose ring, all the things I'm flunking right now, right? So I didn't go there. I just took it as that is what you are because Rastafari is supposed to be a liberty. And if a woman tell me this is her liberty, that's her liberty. So I thought about the women that I knew. Tabitha, Aziza, Black Clay Soil, Hartley Allen, different women that totally went against this grain of what we've been seeing in mainstream society.
Right.
Yeah. And I thought, I do an exhibition. An exhibition is my chance where I get to do the work that I want to do. I don't have to serve my client then and there. I get to serve myself. And I decided that I'm going to go around and I'm going to photograph these Rastafari women. They're going to choose where they want to be photographed. They're going to decide what they want to wear. And in addition to that, they have to answer 3 questions. What's their name? What do they do? And each question for each lady after that was different. Whether it was like, for instance, with Irika Jelani, Roots and Grasses, like something to do with their different professions. She deals with basketry. She's a very good entrepreneur. That kind of way I would ask her something entrepreneurial. So when I put up these images, huge canvas images, portraits of these women, and then something about each of them underneath. You could come in, and by the time you finish that exhibition, as a collective, they have spoken to you about Rastafari. You understand what I'm showing you? I-Queen is very important in that way, and that's how I-Queen came about. It came about because I was hearing things that were not part of my reality, and I wanted to put something out there that said, no, what we're putting out there from mainstream culture in Barbados is not true, and what we might believe about Rastafari, especially negative, because we tend to lean towards the negative, it's not so. And what we might think about as far as women is not so. There are women out there who love their families, who trod with their kings, who love and adore their children, who are educated, who work every day.
All right. I want to put this entire thing into perspective. We're going to take another music video shortly. But talking about African influence now, when you talk about Rastafari, the core of Rastafari has come from the continent of Ethiopia. We're talking about the influence of Haile Selassie and the 224 kings that would have preceded him. So there's an entire continent of spirituality, of knowledge, of history that we're talking about. Now, across the Middle Passage, Barbados was the first stop when the boat come across the water. Now, I want you to talk to me now and explain to me if the concept that you're talking about now, if it has lost its relevance, its influence, and I want to know if it hasn't. I want to know how it is that we're going about making the necessary impact that we can see the change that you're talking about, that we can see, or let's say for instance, you just said it's hard for me to tell the difference between.
It's hard.
Okay, so how do we move from there to a position where we can tell the difference? How do we go back to where we can tell the difference?
Well, you see, the thing is, at the end of the day, right, it is about seeing beyond just what you see on the outside.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? I remember one time I interviewed Sizzler a few years back, and one of the questions I asked him, I said to him, you're conscious, that's the man, but what is your thoughts about the young girls who will be up in these sessions and boom, 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 boom? And Sizzler basically said, listen, you like to see the young girls and the girls wear whatever they want, and women should be able to express themselves and do whatever. But when a certain level of consciousness comes upon her, she would dress the suit, long and short.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? And she would dress the suit. I-Queen was not meant to convert. That's not my job. It was not meant to preach. Just like anyone else, I have a voice, and it was my voice. What I felt, how I felt about. You understand what I mean? Now, if you come to I-Queen and you're like totally blown away, then I'm touched because I've touched you in a positive way. If you come to I-Queen, which I can tell you now, so many people came to I-Queen, it blew my mind. And I think to me, when I really realized how powerful this whole I-Queen movement had become, the exhibition brought people that you would never have thought would have come out. I mean, when the Prime Minister at the then time was late David Thompson, he called me up and said, yeah, Rachelle, you have an exhibition, I'm going to come to it. Blew my mind, And I said to him, but why are you coming? And he said, well, you invited me, which is true. I sent out invitations to everyone, from the governing central bank back down to whomever. and the things that came over there were just amazing. I didn't expect that. All Rachelle was doing is opening her big mouth and taking out her camera and shooting the world as she sees it and putting her thing out there. You can't try to change nobody. That's where it's go wrong, right? You gotta accept people for how they are and who they are. But when you find that your voice is being lost amongst all the stuff, ain't nothing wrong with opening your mouth and yelling and saying, Look, that's not always true mainstream. This is what's going on. And that's what I Queen was. I Queen was not to convert or to denounce. I can't come and tell a body how to dress or whatever, but I can say, you know what? That's you. This is me.
Here's another.
That's it. Plain and simple.
I like that. We're gonna take another music video, and when we come back, another hat that she wears as well is also teaching, going into the education system. So we're gonna have a bit of a conversation about education when we come back. We'll be back in a bit.
Hear me no frost, me come on them accurate. Well, I burn the fire well red. Listen what the ancients have said. Things and times get injured, I'm never gonna be a slave with them economy now. Accurate. The fire burning immaculate. Catcha Fyah make you know I'm never gonna be a slave to them system. Rasta nah look no walking at them business. Never gonna be a slave to them system. Locks a grow, do not get it twisted. Never gonna be a slave to them system. Nah born or stupid in no wrist bling. Never gonna be a slave. Never gonna be a slave. Better to be brave. Okay. I man rather do some farming, plant up a couple acre than be a faker. I prefer be a fruit seller than a teller in a bank of Jamaica, bankrupt Jamaica. I prefer sell some books and some arts and crafts than see the Venn diagram on the boss man chart. They make a profit but the last man lost me. Them not crucify on the cross. I'm never gonna be a slave to them system. Rasta nah look no walking at them business. Never gonna be a slave to them system. Locks a grow, not even get it twisted. And never gonna be a slave to them system. Brass nah stoop low, in a wrist bling. Never gonna be a slave. Never gonna be a slave, better to be brave. Okay. Nobody worry when the youths them a follow away. We not stick around for boost them economy. That's something they you call school is a fallacy. Pan all the teacher them a use psychology. Hey, yes education a the key, but it not free. So them a slave you free a fee. Once you graduate and you get your degree, and your student loan you have to free. I'm never gonna be a slave to them system. I nah look a walking at them business. Never gonna be a slave to them system. Locks a grow, do not get it twisted. Never gonna be a slave to them system. No bound or stupid in no wrist bling. Never gonna be a slave. Never gonna be a slave. Better to be brave, yeah. Cause as a Rasta man in a them system, them discriminate we, intimidate we. Boss man them ever quick to incriminate. And I ask what you did for me lately. You got your wife to feed and a baby as well. Without self-sufficiency or slavery and else. So when the bills keep piling on, looking at the mirror and say to yourself, I'm never gonna be a slave to them system. I know look now walking at them business. Never gonna be a slave to them system. Locks a go, not even get it twisted. Never gonna be a slave to them system. Now born or stupid in a wrist bling. Never gonna be a slave. Never gonna be a slave, better to be brave. I'm never gonna be a slave to them system. Rasta now look now walking at them business. Never gonna be a slave to them system. Frost now stoop low, in a wrist bling. Never gonna be a slave. Accurate, the fire burning immaculate, yeah.
Okay, so we're back. One of the blessings for this program, I suppose, is that one of your former students is actually behind one of the cameras here tonight.
Yes.
He told me to don't ever call you Miss Gray.
No, you can't
Rachelle.
call me ma'am. You gotta call me Miss Gray or Rachelle.
Yeah, let's talk education.
Wow.
How do you see the education system in Barbados? I mean, you're laughing. I don't know if that's the state that you take it for a joke. I don't know.
Well, you know,
Uh,
every skin teeth in a laugh.
there you
All right,
go.
then. Our education system needs an overhaul. And the overhaul starts here. How we perceive education, what is education, and then how we go about educating.
Right.
Because part of going about educating is to know what you want your society to know and learn and be functionable in, if that's a word. You know what I mean? And so it starts from here. So when you see folks on TV or pointing fingers at different people in education, that plainly shows you that they don't understand what education is. I think what adds value to your education is to be learning from someone who actually does the particular thing.
Right.
So, you know, I'm a photographer, I teach photography, I run a company, Gray Arts
that
Media.
practical hands-on
Is that
experience
practical
you're talking
hands-on? Because I'm going to teach you what it is I'm looking for you to be able to do when you come out.
Right.
You know, you're at that transition point because you're coming out to look for work or to transform and, you know, create work for yourself. And whether you're working for yourself or working for others, you still got to know certain things.
I mean, that's tertiary level. But you know, you can also offer your input at a younger level, which
Yeah.
is probably where I suppose it's easier to influence some more, you know?
Right. Currently, I teach in Melbourne, St. George. I teach African and Afro-Caribbean dance classes from ages 3 up to, I think my eldest is she's 16. So I teach that age group. Started back and that's with Meet, Play, Learn. Yeah, her DSP. She's running that. And I used to teach dance also like a few years back there as well. So I'm always in touch with young folks on that level. So I teach dance to very, very young people and talk to very transition people. But my point about education is this. You gotta work, you gotta think about what you want your society to be like, what is important. You understand where I'm coming from? To change education, you have to change the way you think. You can't think one way and teach another thing and then wonder why you're not coming up with the results that you want.
Okay, but we're on the surface. I try to break it down.
Break it down. What do you want me to tell you?
Well, it's not really what I want you to tell me. I need to put it in perspective to some of our viewers.
Okay.
Just a few days ago, we've had the common entrance examination. And this is obviously when you talk about the transition period at tertiary level. This is the opposite.
Right.
This is also a transition period for young people at the ages of 10 and 11 to go on to secondary school. Right now, I mean, we're faced with a situation where the 11 plus examination is coming under heavy scrutiny as far as relevance is concerned. The public education system has come under fire recently as well. I mean, from the head honcho, the Minister of Education, has shown some leaks the day before the examination.
Right.
And we have private schools pretty much stepping up, I would say, and doing a lot better, I would say, quote unquote, in the same common entrance examination. So I want you to talk to me at that early stage. I mean,
I tell you what.
What's the effect of that?
First of all, for our education minister to be pointing fingers at his educators and bashing them in public, let's put that in the education curriculum, not good. Manners 101. You don't do those kind of things, right? Because it doesn't look bad on them. It looks bad on you. You've been in power for however long and you haven't managed to do anything revolutionary with your educational system, and now you want to blame these people out under you. You know what I'm saying? So he's wrong. He's wrong on that level because it's not just the teacher's fault. Children have parents. Children come from communities. You understand where I'm coming from? Let us all be accountable. It takes a village to raise a child.
That's an age-old.
That is age-old. I know. I know. Nothing come on, Catcha Fyah. That been out there before me, right? So with that situation, that looks bad. That is bad. Not good. The other thing too is that if we're going to deal with education in Barbados, we have to deal with the fact. Like I was watching Doug and Cassandra this morning on Morning Barbados, and they're talking. You know, they were going through history about the Moravians who educated us. Well, what kind of education did the Moravians give us? Because I'm not Moravian. I'm not European. You understand what I'm saying? Last time I checked, my ancestors came from a region in West Africa. You know what I mean? And therefore, being Moravian
doesn't fit.
At the end of the day, one of the things that we have to remember when we think about our education in Barbados is where our education was born out of.
Right.
Our education was born out of people who were dragged here put under horrible conditions, and then it was the reason, okay, well, let's teach them something. But what did they teach us? Math and English. That's not education. Math and English is the ability to decode. It's the ability to see numbers, see letters, and decode. And as a result of you being able to decode and be able to say, okay, that's a word, that's a sentence, and that's the instruction.
Left side working.
You understand where I'm coming from? That's what the 11 plus is. Can you decode? But when you come now to be analytical, or when you come to be able to connect dots and be able to creatively think, and, you know, to be able to reason that, you know what, you know, like when you start to say, well, wow, next to every church is a school. What does that mean? Or when you start to break down things like your national anthem, the Lord has been on the people's side for the past 300 years. Wow. Well, last time I checked, Jesus was around 2000. So if I'm from Africa and I'm now here and God has been on our side for 300 years and we've been enslaved for just that amount and Barbados is basically that old, are you saying that I come from a godless society? That's education. Connect some dots. And when you start there, that's why I say it starts in your mind. When you start in your mind and you start to think about what you want, where you're from, where you're going, how you want things to be, then you will figure out how to attain those things. And that will impact on what your education is going to be. Where are you learning? Are you limited? You know, do you believe that when you have your university degree that you have arrived? Because that's actually the beginning. So all these kind of things, you understand what I mean? And so when Mr. Jones points at his teachers, it shows that he doesn't understand the fullness of what education is supposed to be, and is actually, if we use our educated minds, is actually, it almost feels, I feel in recent times that given the state that Barbados is in, it's almost like he's the allotted red herring. So he says something that's supposed to catch your attention. Yeah, you know, he says something like, oh, make more children. But she's on bread, you're laying off people, make more children.
You see, the thing about that is that I don't even want to give him, or any politician for that matter, or the issue, the whole concept of politics, too much time on my program.
Oh, thank God.
Because the thing is that at the end of the day, I think the concept or the entire thing behind politics is that the power really lies with the people. And I'm not sure that many of us in the region, especially in Barbados, have been able to gather that concept fully. Nonetheless, at the end of the day, this is where we live. So, I mean, we're still trying to break it down. What I want you to do for me now is we're talking about obviously coming from Africa. Reparations, repatriation is a big issue. There's some people who think that reparations, repatriation is something that should be mental. In terms of taking your mind back to that place of understanding who we are as a people.
Wow.
Do you think repatriation is still an issue? Is that still important? Reparations even?
I feel that as long as everything is important for Black people. There's
So
nothing.
we should
There's
be
nothing
paid
that's
for
not
slavery?
important. There's nothing that isn't important. You know,
Okay.
Europeans were paid. You know, my father's Haitian. He comes from a country where they had to pay France back. You can imagine somebody takes you out from your home, takes you somewhere. You say, okay, I'm gonna be free, and they say, well, you gotta pay me. You understand what I mean? But then it goes back to education. In a few years, it might not be an issue because really and truly, the biggest issue for us here is math and English. That's the end of that conversation. So if you have a society that their biggest issue is math and English, and if they're going to an older or newer secondary school, then what can you do? How can we talk about things beyond? And it goes back now, I got to tie this back into your whole Bajan reggae artist concept. The whole concept that math and English is it. And the whole concept that you're a Bajan reggae artist. You see how we put limitations onto how we see the world. There's so many other things to learn. There's so much more that you are. You understand? So therefore, a Bajan reggae artist might just limit himself to believing in that. Because we have been educated to limit ourselves in how we see ourselves.
Okay. Time is obviously getting away from us. So I'm going to get you to obviously just answer one or two more questions to me, then we're gone.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Is much more, I suppose, than just making condiments, seasoning, or jelly. Right?
Right.
Okay, so you want you to talk to me and talk, not even to me, but to young people out there who have dreams, who have visions of becoming a lot more, obviously, than just, I suppose, you know, going to school, getting a degree, finding a job, and working to get a pension. Then to die. There's some people who aspire to a lot more. I want you to give them some guidance to me. How is it that you know, follow your goals and achieve?
I'll tell you what. When I was growing up, I was told that I was own way, hard ears, and disobedient. I'm my own woman now.
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from? When you're own way, hard-headed and disobedient, you have to decide what you're going to do with that.
Right.
Are you going to let it tear you down and you blow? Or are you going to say, well, how can I constructively use my own way, hard-headed and disobedientness to become something amazing? That's simple. So if you have dreams, it requires you to be own way, hard-headed and disobedient. Own way means that you have to follow your dreams. Hard-headed means you got to just ignore what people are going to tell you on a certain level.
Right.
On a certain level. And disobedient means that you have to go against the norm. Simple. Follow your dreams.
Dare to be different, follow your dreams. That's episode 9 of Catcha Fyah. Thanks a lot for joining us. You just saw an exclusive interview here with Rachelle Gray. You can find her on Facebook. You can find, I suppose you can find anybody on Facebook these days. So just join us next week for episode number 10. We have a special surprise for you. Thanks to New Visual Media for recording us. Big respect. Catcha Fyah is out of here. Thanks a lot, Rachelle.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.